The 49ers reportedly offered Kendrick Bourne a contract, and the jerseys are mirrored. They're flipped. I get it. This is how we're operating for the time being. There is a Wi Fi outage. It stretched back into last night when I had to tether my phone. And today we decided that we're going to try to go for higher quality, higher video quality. But that means YouTube and their app, which doesn't allow you to flip the background. So sorry, you get to see the Frank Gore jersey written in a different language. So that's what you guys have to deal with. I also, for whatever reason, am hearing my own voice coming through my phone. So it's a big mess right now technologically, but I strive to bring you the news no matter what. And Matt Mayoko has said that the 49ers made a formal offer to re-sign or to sign, I guess re-sign since he had been with the 49ers years prior, but to sign free agent wide receiver Kendrick Bourne. But obviously the 49ers and Bourne did not reach agreement. Bourne posted yesterday from SFO on his way to Washington, and he is visiting the Commanders today. Obviously, Jauan Jennings was out on the practice field for the 49ers yesterday, but I do think that it's significant that there was an actual formal offer extended from San Francisco to Kendrick Bourne. Now, I will surmise that this offer was not for a whole lot of money, maybe even the veteran minimum or a little bit over that, because with Jennings back, with the 49ers 99% healthy right now on their 70-man roster. The only player missing practice yesterday was the rookie receiver Jordan Watkins. I don't think the 49ers are in a desperate situation at wide receiver. They might have been there a few days ago, but they aren't now. They traded for Sky Moore to bolster the back end of the room. They brought in Marquez Valdez-Scantling. That bolsters the middle of the room, even if he's coming off the practice squad. And of course, they invited Kendrick Bourne to work out at the team facility and even formally offered him a contract. But in the time that all this has happened, Russell Gage has returned from his injury. Jauan Jennings has returned from his calf injury and probably even his contract situation. The prognosis for Jordan Watkins looks good. He was working off on the side at practice yesterday. So I would surmise that the offer to Kendrick Bourne was not massive, because if it was notably big, he wouldn't have left the building had he been formally offered, and he was formally offered to go to Washington and visit them today. That, I think, right now is the very, very clear writing on the wall. But part two of this is what I was saying last night, and it wasn't necessarily Jennings or Bourne for the 49ers. That's what I emphasized last night, right? I said they can still give Jauan Jennings a contract while Kendrick Bourne also signs with the team. And I think the fact that they formally offered Kendrick Bourne on a day that saw Jauan Jennings practicing for the 49ers underscores that fact. You could always use more depth at every single position in the NFL, and if the depth comes at the right price, you will absolutely take it. And the 49ers offered what they thought was the right price for them for Kendrick Bourne. He had every right to say no and go check what Washington has to offer. If Bourne signs with Washington, it's going to be really interesting to see the money, because then we'll be able to gauge, well, the 49ers probably offered less than that. This is how badly the 49ers wanted to add Kendrick Bourne as depth. We're going to be able to fill in some of the blanks after he eventually signs somewhere. And maybe he'll come back around and sign with the 49ers for the low deal that they offered. And that was according to Matt Mayoko today. But again, this does demonstrate that Bourne and Jennings can potentially coexist on the 49ers roster. We do not have graphic capabilities today. Those of you just joining, don't complain about the inverted jerseys behind me. The Wi-Fi is out. I'm still finding a way to go live. So you can give a subscribe for that. Tomorrow we're going to be back in San Francisco, and you're going to have the full camera studio. The Wi-Fi should be working. We've been dealing with major technical issues here. So I'm having to stream from my phone, from the YouTube app, with even Joe Montana. Look, Joe Montana's jersey is inverted. It almost looks like a 21. It looks like a Frank Gore jersey on Joe Montana, and the Frank Gore jersey I can't even read. Just crazy. And this is something I can't flip on YouTube if I'm streaming this way, which is my only chance right now, given the internet. You're going to have to see jersey numbers that are not in the correct direction. But it's okay because we're talking the 49ers roster. This is a player's day off. This is the last player's day off before the week one official practice slate begins. They're going to practice on Wednesday. They're going to practice on Thursday. And they're going to practice on Friday. Now, we have something really, really cool available for you right now. You can go to the YouTube community section and check this out. Mike has set this up. I'm going to be doing a big 49ers 2025 season prediction video later this week. The prediction show has always been something special for us. We've gone to different parts of San Francisco and the Bay Area and filmed in different locations and then put it all together, including our record prediction for the 2025 season. Well, this time, I would like you to join the prediction show. This time, I want to hear from you. You could record a quick video that will tell us what you think is going to be that 49ers record here in 2025. The ones that we like the best, we will edit into the actual prediction video, which is going to come out later this week. Mike has set up a Dropbox link. It is on the YouTube community, the YouTube post page. You can click on posts under my name on YouTube. So you go to the page, you can click on the Dropbox link, keep your video under 10 seconds, and upload it onto that Dropbox link. And then we're going to edit everything together. And, not everything's going to make the final video. So do as well as you can with it. And we're going to try to splice together something really special to kick off this 2025 season. So Mike had a great idea. I will also tweet the Dropbox link at some point. But for now, it is available for you on the YouTube post page. News of the morning is that the 49ers did offer Kendrick Bourne a contract. We don't know how much that contract was worth. We surmised that it wasn't a whole lot, but it does underscore the fact that the 49ers would be okay with having both Kendrick Bourne and Jauan Jennings on the team. It wasn't an either-or thing. Now, at a certain price, it's obviously an either-or thing, but at a certain price, you can have both of them. The 49ers tried to build up their receiving depth as much as they could within their strict financial constraints. And we all know why those constraints are strict. The salary cap is something that I explain on an almost weekly basis. Kendrick Bourne did not agree to the 49ers offer. He is now visiting Washington. However, San Francisco did get Jauan Jennings back. He apparently was happy in the locker room after practice yesterday. We'll see if a deal is reached with Jauan Jennings. Like I said last night, I would not rule it out. He was already on the practice field earlier this training camp without a contract. Obviously was on the practice field yesterday without a new contract. Negotiations can happen even if a player is participating. I think the 49ers might be, and their fans might be a little bit jaded over the course of the past few years since all these big negotiations happened while the player was either holding out or holding in. San Francisco encouraged Jauan Jennings to get out on that practice field. And I mean, this was at the start of training camp. We heard this from Kyle Shanahan, and they told him that this would be the best way to a resolution that he found more favorable. Gabe Davis is signing with the Buffalo Bills. So a return to Buffalo for Gabe Davis. I reported, was it 2 months ago? Maybe almost 3 months ago that Gabe Davis would visit the 49ers. And he did. Now he's returning to Buffalo. Probably healthy at this point. I don't think he was fully cleared at the time that he visited the 49ers coming off that meniscus surgery. But the Buffalo Bills pick up their former deep threat and maybe their 2025 deep threat or another deep threat in 2025 in Gabe Davis. So movement on the receiver front here in the NFL this week with Kendrick Bourne flying, crisscrossing the country. Jauan Jennings returning to practice. Gabe Davis signing with Buffalo. The 49ers getting a nearly full clean bill of health. Everybody minus Jordan Watkins. And we'll keep an eye on him tomorrow. He was already working off on the side during the bonus practice Monday, but maybe he's going to be back out on that practice field itself for San Francisco on Wednesday. 69 of 70 players on the 49ers 70-man roster are healthy at the moment. They have gotten themselves into good position to face Seattle in week 1. Trent Williams mentioned yesterday it's also going to be about how the 49ers gel on the field. I mean, there have been players who have missed considerable practice time for the 49ers over the course of training camp. So now it's about coming together as a football team over the course of actual games. I mean, you generally see a lot of sloppy play early in the season. And Trent Williams said it's important that the 49ers try to avoid that as much as possible, even though it might be something that you can't really escape because Seattle is also going to have to deal with the same thing. But by the time that October and especially November roll around, that's when you see these teams blossom to form. There's less intense training camp now. Teams don't run two-a-days anymore. The rules are much more restrictive over the course of the offseason. It lends itself to football that isn't quite as aesthetically pleasing at the start of the year, and it also lends itself to playoff teams and teams that are true contenders. Once January and February rolls around, it leads to those types of teams sometimes not looking as good early in the season. But it still obviously is just as important in the standings. So the 49ers are going to have to overcome maybe some of the preparation disruptions that injuries cause over the course of training camp. They're going to have to overcome that to deliver as clean of a football game as possible on Sunday. They are slight favorites over the Seattle Seahawks, which I think is notable. I mean, the way that some people were talking all offseason, I mentioned it yesterday, was the 49ers are going to have to forfeit. They can't field a team because there's so many guys hurt. Now they've got a 99% health rate on the 70-man roster, and they are favored in week 1. They will also be favored in week 2 against Spencer Rattler and the New Orleans Saints. And then it's going to come home for San Francisco, Arizona, followed by Jacksonville. Both games will see the 49ers wear white uniforms at home. Arizona will be all white uniforms, the 94 retros, and Jacksonville is going to be white with gold pants at home. I believe that it will be the first time in 49ers history that they wear their standard white uniforms at home with the gold pants outside of a preseason game. It's the first time in their regular season or playoff history. They're going to be doing that to try to stay cool at Levi's Stadium over the course of this September. So that's what's on tap for the month. What are our predictions for September? I'm going to release my 49ers season prediction when you guys send in all your videos to the link in the community page. But I know that I like to make monthly predictions every time that we turn the calendar, and we just turned the calendar to September yesterday. And the Seattle game, it's always the biggest grab bag, right? That first game, because there's so many things that you're guessing about, especially for a team with a lot of young players like the 49ers. So we're going to get our first look at them. It's not going to be our last look at the 49ers by any stretch. I would say the game is probably close to a toss-up, though, heading up to Seattle. And then the next week, I think the 49ers will be solid favorites against New Orleans. And I think they'll win at least one out of the 2 home games, Arizona and Jacksonville. I think that 3-1 would be a good month for the 49ers. I think that they, fans should be really happy if they can go 3-1 this month. 2-2 would be treading water. There would be no need to panic at 2-2. And 1-3 would bring out a lot of anxiety, I'm sure, here in the comments section on social media. But the journey does get started on Sunday in Seattle. And with Kendrick Bourne now visiting Washington, having turned down the 49ers offer, I am happy to answer some of your questions. Jerseys are inverted. I get it. Sorry. We're doing our best. It's been tough without the internet, but hey, at least we're still running shows. Lives as often as we can. Let's go with the questions. Chosen says the panic is with the D-line. Why is there so much panic with the 49ers D-line? They've got a lot of young guys. I think it's exciting. I think the D-line will grow over the course of this season. But between Michael Williams, C.J. West, Alfred Collins, and Sebastian Valdez, who's on the practice squad, whose name will be called at some point, it's a lot of first-year players who are going to be looking to make a splash in the NFL. Jordan Jefferson, young player, second-year guy, just claimed off of waivers at that defensive tackle spot. He's so strong, Jordan Jefferson, right? That's, to me, that's really, really exciting in the context of the wide 9. They've really gotten a lot of moldable clay from the physical perspective, the 49ers have. They have a big, strong, athletic tackle in Jordan Jefferson They've got CJ West, who's been ragdolling people. Michael Williams has the wingspan and the strength as well. So does Alfred Collins. I got to make sure that these guys blossom into actual good NFL technique and work from there. But I think that the defensive line is something to absolutely be excited about. Last year, that was something where you were, okay, how can the 49ers keep things patched together? Oh, okay, they brought in Leonard Floyd. There's Malik Collins, veterans. Can he keep this thing afloat? No. Even though those two guys had decent seasons pass rushing, they did not keep things afloat. And I don't think there was much youngster excitement on that 49ers defensive line in 2024. This year's the opposite. Instead of an aging unit, you've got a young unit, a unit with untapped potential. And the 49ers get to see that potential work right in front of them over the course of 2025. So I'm most excited actually about the D line because I don't think it's going to be pretty all the time. I think there'll be growing pains, but I'm just a neutral observer documenting how the 49ers grow as a football team. And there nowhere is there more meat on the bone than at a defensive line position that used 3 top 4-round draft picks to bolster itself over the course of this offseason. Somebody said the 49ers need to improve their third down conversion rate. Sure, but to improve your third down conversion rate, you could probably start with improving your first down run success rate. You know, your third down conversion rate is going to be higher if you're facing third and short. You're going to face a lot more third and short if you set yourself up better for second down. You're going to set yourself up better for second down if you're picking up 4 or more yards on first down. 49ers were number 20 in first down run efficiency last year. It put them right behind the 8 ball. The second downs were longer and harder. The third downs were longer and harder. So for the third down conversion rate to be better, San Francisco is going to truly need to step it up with the run game on early downs. How do I feel about the Robinson, Christian McCaffrey backfield? I feel like Kyle Shanahan. I think that they have different complementary skill sets. If you watch some of the Brian Robinson Jr. film, this guy is like a bowling ball. I mean, he's pushing 4, 5, 6 guys at a time downfield. Once he gets going, I mean, he's a truck to bring down. I think that he's more physical than Christian McCaffrey because he's bigger than Christian McCaffrey. I think he's a decent receiver. I don't think that he's as good of a receiver as CMC, but I think that he does bring some of that thunder to what the 49ers offer offensively that can be valuable in short yardage. I think that they could both be on the field at the same time. That's absolutely a possibility for the 49ers. I mean, they'd had Jeff Wilson Jr. and Christian on the field at the same time back in 2022 before they traded Jeff to the Dolphins. And especially if, Jauan Jennings is on a pitch count on Sunday, just having to return to practice on Monday, especially if they feel a little shorthanded out wide, which they may not. We'll see how they are on Sunday. But especially if that's the case, then you can flex Christian McCaffrey out of the backfield into a receiving role, and you can have somebody like Brian Robinson Jr. pick up any resulting slack in the backfield for Christian McCaffrey. As Law of Awe says, red zone should be a point of focus this year. Absolutely. And McCaffrey, by the way, can help generate separation just by his threat coming out of the backfield in the pass game. He could run very effectively. I mean, Shanahan said that the two things that link Brian Robinson Jr. and Christian McCaffrey are their ability to just be good runners, right? You could talk about, okay, Christian's better receiving, Brian Robinson Jr. is better in short yardage, he's a little bit more powerful. McCaffrey might be a quicker cutter, more lateral, change of direction, COD. But at the end of the day, they're both good runners, period. And if they're both good runners, then you could be creative as a play caller. You can rest Christian McCaffrey more. You could trick opposing defenses by having them both in the backfield at the same time. One can go out for a pass pattern. One can stay back in the backfield. A number of things. He can block. He can obviously take a handoff. He could take a pitch, play fake. I mean, that Shanahan lives for that adaptability. That's what allows him to call plays as effectively as possible. We are opening this up for questions, even with the inverted jerseys behind us. Murphy says, I can see growing pains with the defense, but he trusts in Robert Saleh. Mo asking, JJ was never put on IR. No, the 49ers never put Jauan Jennings on IR. That was a possibility that we talked about, but they wanted to buy Jennings as much time as was possible for them to get back out on that practice field. And he did that yesterday. So Jennings, not on IR, is active now. I would show you the roster if we weren't in a Wi-Fi outage and I didn't have to stream from my phone right now. Do I have Stanford over BYU? No. Stanford's going to have to win a game until I can get on that train right now. They lost to Hawaii in that first game. I know they've got a lot of work cut out for them. Ronnie asks, is it worrisome to have only 3 safeties? Well, they've got 4. They have one on the practice squad and Derek Canteen. They have Jason Pinnock, Marquise Siegel, Jair Brown, Derek Canteen. And then remember that if you have multiple injuries at that position, a cornerback can always play safety. It's a lot tougher to ask a safety to play corner. But you could plug a Chase Lucas into safety. You can plug Saran Neal into safety. You could plug Darrell Luter Jr. into safety. Would it be ideal? Absolutely not. But typically, safety requires less athleticism than outside cornerback, and you could operate in that way. But if you have enough guys to get through a game, even if you do have an injury at safety to one of the 3, you can call up Derek Canteen the next week, even if it's not to the 53, even if it's just as a practice squad elevation. That was a good-looking rookie for the 49ers who made the team through the tryout. He was with them here over the course of OTAs, and then the 49ers cut him and re-signed him to the practice squad. Somebody asked if I made plans for the New York Giants road game. Did you see yesterday's video on Jauan Jennings? I was in New York City yesterday, and we stopped by Finnerty's, which is the 49ers, Giants, Sharks, Warriors bar. It's the San Francisco, the Bay Area bar on 33rd Street, Midtown, block and a half from. Go watch the video. It was a cool spot to do the Jauan Jennings update from. So that's going to be part of our New York City plans for that weekend. First, though, I'll see everybody in Seattle, and I'll see you in New Orleans. Badgers asks, who do you think will be the most improved player? He has Jake Moody. I mean, if Moody kicks at the percentage that he kicked over the course of preseason, which was, about 90%, he'll be vastly improved. You're happy if you have a kicker making 90% of your field goals, period. And Jake Moody, down the stretch of last season after the high ankle sprain, was making only 50%. That'd be a 40-point improvement. I don't think that's a bad pick. I just think that he's going to have to show it consistently in the regular season before a lot of fans truly, truly believe in him. How do I feel about the backup tight end position for the 49ers? I think Jake Tonches is a self-made man. I think that he's worked really hard to transform his body into a place where he's strong enough to make the blocks at the NFL level. Evidenced by the fact he plays a little backup fullback for San Francisco. I think that helped him make the 53-man roster. I think he's better at that than Braden Willis. I think that the 49ers won't be using that third tight end all too much unless there are injuries, but it always seems that there is an issue in that regard for San Francisco. Their top 2 guys are Kittle and Luke Farrell. And Kittle can obviously do everything, but his banner ability is his receiving ability as a tight end. Farrell, his banner ability is his blocking ability. So out of your 2 starters, you like to have a plus receiver and a plus blocker. Kittle can do both again. I'm not saying he's one or the other, but he does bring one of the necessary components to the table for your starting 2. Your backup, you like him to be somebody that can do a little bit of both, just in case one of Kittle or Luke Farrell gets hurt, so he can really slide into that role. And I think that Jake Tonjes has demonstrated the ascent and the development, the right trajectory for the 49ers to make them comfortable in case they have some missed time from George Kittle and Luke Farrell. The audio is falling off. That's not good. Do you guys hear me now? Well, if the audio is falling off, we'll probably sign off here in a second. You can't hear anything? Man, We are dealing with the biggest technical hell that we've dealt with ever without this Wi-Fi. See, I'm trying to use the mic now. We're not even using a computer to do this. Hit refresh. The audio is working, says Greensleeves. So hit refresh. Maybe it'll be better. Papa J says, I can hear everything you've been saying. You know, sometimes, guys, we just got to tough it out. Today's the final off day of the season. We don't have the Wi-Fi in place. Everything is broken. Sometimes we just got to tough it out. Hit refresh. Bear with me. I appreciate you guys staying here. We know that Kendrick Bourne was offered by the 49ers. Mike says it sounds better now, so that's good. We know that Kendrick Bourne was offered by the 49ers. We know he's in Washington today. We know that Gabe Davis signed with the Bills. And we know that the 49ers are the healthiest that they've been since 2023. Early, before Talanoa Hufanga got hurt. All right, I gave it my best effort, guys. We'll talk to you soon.